and action.
Hello and welcome to RambleClub. We're trying out a live stream. We're going to do a live stream of it.
Yeah, you got to remember this is also an audio version as well. Like as a pod, so there'll be people who won't be watching the live stream. They'll be catching up the podcast. So.
Yes.
Whoa.
I'm going to bring this back here.
Yeah.
Roving mic.
Whoa, like Freddie Mercury or Robbie Williams.
I feel like my microphone's on a selfie stick.
Again, you're visualizing this. It's an audio podcast.
This is what happens when you give me a camera to play up to.
Ollie's holding a mic on a stick.
Well,
for those listening in the audio version.
Welcome, everyone. Pledge hammers, $10 above, the most elite, and Laurie was just saying, the only level that matters. Everyone beneath $10 is... Oh, we're getting...
Sorry, because I had my laptop
we're
on.
monitoring it.
I pulled an Andy Datson.
You said everyone beneath that amount is
Scum.
dead to you.
Scum.
Scum.
Yeah.
It's an insult to give anything
It
less
is.
than $10.
Yes, that is it.
So thank you so much, everyone. We will be not forgetting this bad boy later on, or bad girl, as
Naughty
Tori Wilson looks on the
Tory.
front there, naughty Tory. But for now, I'll pass things over to Luke Owen
Have you
while
done any-
I
have you done any of
open
the
the
introductions?
beer. Oh, I'm joined by Laurie and Luke.
Hello.
Hi.
Again, Laurie, this is an audio thing. I know the cameras are on, but...
I said hi
Yeah, but you gave the thumbs up first.
to the cap. Yeah, and?
You should just nod.
Sorry.
Should we do, I know
I'll sit completely still. Do you know what? I'll sit on my hands.
I know some sign language now because my lady partner's learning sign language. So I'm going to try and answer as many things using British Sign Language as possible.
So
Could
full
not.
sign language, not Makaton sign language. Yes.
Yes. So Makaton is what I didn't
Makaton
know
is a
this.
simplified version of sign
Yeah,
language.
but they teach babies.
Yeah.
I didn't know babies.
What's so revelatory about that?
Babies do learn things.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
but not like.
That's how they end up as adults.
But
Yeah. You were a
before-
baby once.
No, it wasn't. Came out fully formed.
He
In
walks
a
out
jumper.
like a sling ring.
But yeah, I was taken aback. I didn't realize this was a thing. Before language, before being able to verbally speak, babies can understand concepts of communication. Well, sorry, it's news to me. I'm late to the party. Well done for being so enlightened.
Well, I mean, I'm not enlightened. It's just that I'm unsurprised. I didn't know it either. So I'm as late as you are. It's just that I'm not as like, oh my God, they taught babies things. Can you imagine?
Babies learning?
Can you imagine a world
That's
in
like
which
teaching a
things are
paperweight.
taught to
You
babies?
can't teach a paperweight.
Yeah, but it's like, it's pretty deep. It's calculus. They've got geography on there. These are smart babies.
Yeah, they also teach babies, like, it's called school.
Look, I'm talking 6 months old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when I go to nursery, they tend to learn things. They learn how to, like, clap along to rhythm.
Okay.
Hey, rhythm is in you or it isn't. It's not. You can't learn rhythm.
I should know I was a drummer, and I never learned it.
You're of a different mindset to me. To me, honestly, when I heard it, I was like, "You're teaching language to a cat." It's that level of
Babies aren't
bewilderment
cats.
to me. They're just as cute,
They're just as cute.
and it's not as
They're little shaved cats.
So we are up on the live stream currently. Paul DeBat has said, nice. And Patrick has said, hey guys, big fan. Thanks for all the hard work. But let's have some of the questions that are
Quality chat.
over on the Patreon page. Michael Hayes says, fun to head, one song, and you have to get all the lyrics right first time. What song do you go for?
Oh, probably Bohemian Rhapsody. I'm pretty confident there.
Yeah, absolutely. That is one I could easily do. That or Ice Ice Baby, Vanilla Ice.
I'll do the fast food rockers. The Pizza Hut song.
Yeah.
A Pizza Hut,
Kentucky Fried Chicken and a Pizza Hut. Twinkle, twinkle, little star. I'm pretty confident with that one.
Chicken and a Pizza Hut.
I feel like these are bad ideas. These are bad ones.
Dragosti Dinte.
I think Bo Rap's a good answer.
Bohemian, yeah, that's a great answer. There's loads of different lyrics. Laurie's just said brand names.
Yeah, and?
Restaurant
It
hygiene.
is a song.
Yeah.
Like, he's not wrong.
Yeah, I guess so. But it's a song based off a children's nursery rhyme.
I don't think there's any problem with that.
Okay.
Isn't it terrifying? I remember because I heard that song.
I can do the alphabet.
obviously.
Without fail.
It's kind of a song.
Yeah, if you sing it.
Because I'd heard that song via the radio when it was a big thing over here.
Mm-hmm.
But then when I watched the documentary Super Size Me, was stunned to learn that it's a nursery rhyme that American children just do at school.
What, a Pizza Hut? A Pizza Hut, Kentucky Fried Chicken, and
Yeah,
Pizza Hut?
their school nursery rhymes are just corporations for you to buy things from. They're going to make you grossly
They're just
overweight.
listing dinners they had that week. It's
Yeah,
fine.
exactly. That's very scary.
Yeah.
Like, Super Size Me is a tremendous documentary. It made my wife cry.
Twinkle, twinkle, Nike tick.
Oh, Microsoft. Oh, Microsoft. I love it. I love America so much. I guess I don't know what you call it. And like you're an anglophone.
It's a country.
You're an anglophone if you like England.
right,
You're a
okay.
francophone if you like France. What are you? If
An
you like?
Americanist.
An Americanist.
Yeah. An idiot.
An Americano, please.
One
But
Americano, please.
I love them so much. I even love their faults, which
Yeah.
I would consider that a fault. The current presidential regime. I love it. I love how
Ollie
they've.
Davis, this is what you come to
Controversy.
Patreon for. Ollie Davis won't say anything political on any show for fear of dividing and the audience that we have.
They don't come here for political
Patreon.
chat.
You come to Patreon, though. You hear the full force of Ollie Davis's political views.
that was the full force.
Oh, that withering, absolute torpedo of a thought.
This searing hot take from Ollie Davis.
I think their presidential regime is.
It's not good.
No one said it before. No one said it. I'm saying what we're
putting
all
it out
thinking
there.
here.
God, what a barrage of thoughts.
Barrage
Barrage of thoughts.
He's got some thoughts.
Barrage of borts.
Dan, the mayor of Painesville.
Dan's with us.
He's not watching live in the chat, but he has commented on Patreon to say, have you guys heard
I
anything
retract that.
about Wrestling Media Con for this year? Best wishes.
Yeah, well, I don't know yet. There's various plans in the ether or ether.
Ether.
And what did they have in
Ether,
Avengers?
the
It was
ether.
called the ether. It was never called the
The
ether.
Reality Stone.
No,
Right.
Effer.
Ether.
Effer.
I saw a...
What everyone thought about Natalie Portman for about 4 films.
So don't... Yeah, I thought they did very well of cutting... Well, we won't get into anything about Endgame spoilers.
Do you know that was the spoiler
What's
that you were trying to
really,
avoid
was it?
so much?
Oh, that's interesting.
That Natalie Portman was at the premiere.
Oh, interesting.
And you freaked out.
I did freak
and
out. I
you
didn't wanna
worked
know
yourself
anything.
into a huge
did.
thing.
I
What a
really did.
spiral.
But I'm so glad that I didn't know that's what it was. I actually thought it was someone different.
It was a huge part of the movie.
But we're not going to go into... But I don't care. But we're not going to go into Endgame spoilers here. But to
what?
say
Batman!
that the Infinity Stones are part of the movie... in the same way they were for Infinity War. But anyway, the guy who wrote the Avengers. I'm trying to think what his name
Christopher Feely
is. No,
and
it wasn't.
Steve
No, Chris
McFollowers.
No, he didn't write Avengers. That was
the
done-
first one?
Yeah, that was done by. I'm gonna have to.
It wasn't
Google it now.
Whedon?
No, it was the guy who did like the first draft. I'm going to have to go to IMDb and get this. 1 second.
Chris Suzuka.
Feel for time. No, Zach Penn. I remember because he also wrote The Incredible
Okay.
Hulk. Because he wrote The Incredible Hulk and then they
He got the job off of the Incredible Hulk.
Well, I think because they did Incredible Hulk and then got him to write it off the back of that, and then eventually started to rewrite it. But the thing that he
Phase
wrote,
one's a weird time.
isn't it just? But the thing that he's very proud of is that, oh man, like, can't believe the Tesseract, something that it was a real throwaway thing, 'cause it was just our version of the Cosmic Cube, has lasted this long and has become a really big part. Something I wrote for the Avengers, or wrote for Captain America, has become a really big part of this whole universe. And he was talking about how he wanted Ant-Man in the original Avengers movie. That's what he wanted Hank Pym to have a cameo.
So he wanted like the original
Exactly,
lineup
yeah.
all on screen at
But
once.
Edgar Wright essentially said no, because we're doing Ant-Man, and he's a big part of our story. And,
Yeah, that worked out well.
Worked out well for everyone, I guess.
So Avengers Endgame was so good. My lady partner enjoyed it so much. She now wants to go back and watch the MCU movies. I said we don't have to watch those. Because when I made her watch all of them last year, she was like, do we have to watch all of them? I was like, no, we don't, but I want you to.
Yeah.
And she was like, well, can we drop any that aren't necessary? And the only ones we dropped were Iron Man 2, which actually is quite necessary in terms of introducing characters.
Black Widow.
Black Widow. Is that it?
That's it.
Okay. But it's also where the Avengers Initiative is also first brought up.
No, that's brought up at the end of the first
No,
Iron Man.
no,
But
they scrap it, don't they?
Yes,
Yeah, right. Which, when you watch Avengers, you're like, well, when did that happen? Well, I did at least. Incredible Hulk and Spider-Man: Homecoming. She did not like Spider-Man in Civil War. So I was like, okay, Homecoming isn't really that
Because
necessary.
he's a geek.
Yeah. But she
What
found
a
him
nerd.
really annoying.
Get a swirly.
Oh, he's fun. He's so endearing, though.
But she loved him in Infinity War and Endgame. So we watched Homecoming over the weekend. She thought it was subpar.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And you know what? Watching it back, it is subpar.
I
Marvel
really,
standards.
It's got some good moments.
It's not a Marvel movie. It's not a Marvel
Great
movie.
twist.
Good twist, yeah.
One of
It's not a
the
Marvel
better
movie.
twists. Oh, come on.
It's a Sony movie.
Come on,
it's not a
Rick.
Marvel movie. It's a Sony picture. That's why the trailer for Far From Home came out before Endgame. It's because Sony don't care. They are not.
Yeah.
They're not connected to
They don't
Disney.
give an F.
They're not connected to the Marvel Studios. They're just like, we can release this trailer whenever we want. We don't care.
Venom did really... Look, we made Venom, and that was really good. Well,
Into the Spider-Verse did great. Well, so they don't care. That's why everyone was like, "Oh, why would you release that trailer?" It's like because Sony released it.
Yeah, they don't care.
Disney and Marvel Studios would have held off.
I'm sure they would have said, yeah, don't do that.
Don't do that just now. But it's a Sony product,
still
so
our
they don't care.
license.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, ha, we still own him. You've only got it for one more Avengers movie. What are you going to do then? What are you going to do then?
Well, anyway, so we're going to watch Iron Man 2. She wants to see that. And she also wants
Bit
to
of
see
Whiplash.
Incredible Hulk.
Incredible Hulk's got one great moment
I like Incredible Hulk.
when he kicks the guy in the tree. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
doesn't
That
he
set
go-
the tone
yeah.
for what Hulk would be like for the rest of the Marvel cinematic universe.
Yeah, pretty much.
He'll cut across any scene of someone talking
On
by
that
kicking
note-
them or hitting them.
On that note, the Cheech has said, of course, Ollie likes Trump. He's a WWE Hall of Famer. So your political landscape is now you're a hardcore Trump fan, I guess.
How did that get...
Trumpicana.
Trumpicana over here. And get your little MAGA hat.
Yeah,
and
that's
Patrick has asked,
Carton of Trumpicana for you.
again, not going into
said
spoilers.
anything.
We're not going to do any spoilers for Endgame, or at least as little as we possibly can. Patrick asks, were you happy with Thor's character direction in Endgame?
Yes.
Yeah.
A million times,
million
yes.
times, yes. Absolutely, a million times, 1,000 times over, yes.
And the setups it did for future movies.
Yeah.
Very excited about that.
Samad said, if you could improve one thing from Avengers Endgame, what would it be and why? And it's hard to do this without going into spoilers because I've got one thing. I actually nearly wrote a script over the weekend when I was thinking about this on my car ride back from my mum's house yesterday.
For Screenstalker.
For Screenstalker, which is that the Avengers Endgame is a complete mess of a movie. As like my big clickbaity title that I wanted to do, where I would talk about my biggest issue I had with it, and still have because I still think about it now, and I'd be like, God, it's annoying. All right. Okay.
How can you say it without not giving it away?
I really can't.
Okay.
I really
Just
cannot do
it.
Through a
Teach him sign language.
Okay. Through a
And then there is the simple words and gestures.
I was going to say
you can
like
teach
D&D.
me, Yeah.
Yeah. We'll
Like
talk
how I train all my animal companions
In D&D,
through a series
yeah.
of simple words and gestures.
And do you know what? Those simple words and gestures does get that dog to
I
be
can,
quite
I,
a
can
bit.
get, I can get a lot of points across. Go to that room, spy on those people, steal this and bring it back.
And he actually did. And it actually did because he rolled well enough. So the dog did exactly as he asked.
Wait,
It's a
wait,
smart
wait,
dog.
wait,
It's a
wait.
smart dog.
Are we talking about
D&D.
D&D?
Yeah.
Right, okay. I got lost in what level of reality we were talking about. Whether this
so-
was a video game or real life.
Do we want to just say, for the next 5 minutes, we're going to do a spoiler thing and then get people to jump across? No. Fair enough. Okay, so sorry, Samad. I do. We'll talk about it afterwards, though.
I think I can give my one.
I can do mine as well.
Yeah.
I can do mine in one word.
Okay.
Women.
Oh, I knew you were going to say that.
It's kind of connected to mine. Like Captain Marvel, I felt her integration in the film didn't suit my taste for it. I get the idea that she's very powerful, so they were, let's say, to not spoil anything, fairly sparing with the use of her. And I think she could have been better integrated into the team and the format more.
So I will say this as vaguely as possible. My biggest issue I had with Endgame, and how I would say is a complete mess of a movie, is the same reason I think that Terminator is better than Terminator 2. Because Terminator 2, while theoretically is a better movie than Terminator, it is a movie that doesn't play within its own rules, and therefore I think is actually it sort of cheapens itself by just like changing the rules to appease what it wants to do.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, if you wanna listen to mine and Laurie's full thoughts, did a bloody video on that.
Did we one for ages?
Did a video.
Just banged on about it for a third of the runtime.
Yeah. There was 20 minutes.
That was really hardcore 20 minutes. And we just stopped looking at the watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was having too much fun.
Yeah. So peeling back the curtain a little bit, 4 Screen Stalker videos, when we've done trailer reactions, Ollie has said, guys, 10 minutes. Go in there and just record for 10 minutes. It's very easy. Just go in there and talk for 10 minutes and stop. And we were like, okay. And the only time we've managed to do it was that Joker trailer reaction. And even then, we could have talked for another 5 minutes, but we cut ourselves short, stopped talking about our thoughts just so we could get into that 10-minute time frame that Ollie wants us to do. And then Ollie was like, we're going to go do a quick 10-minute review. Half an hour later, they emerged from this room because
I was tired after that. I had a lot of thoughts.
someone can't stick to their own rules.
I think there's
like
a
Avengers
difference.
Endgame.
I think there's a difference between talking about a 2.5-minute piece of promotional material and a 3-hour movie, which is the conclusion of 22 films.
Are you trying to say you
You're
cannot
not being
theorize?
efficient enough.
Are you saying that you can't theorize off the back of a
got
trailer?
you where it hurts, didn't I? Needled you there, right?
Got me.
Cut you off.
Well,
I'm super efficient.
When we were talking about Avengers, I saw you welling up.
You didn't.
Yeah, I did. I told Luke. I said, I think Laurie's eyes were getting wet
Had a
when we were
glisten.
talking.
I could
about,
hear you both tearing up in the podcast version.
I did get a bit of. I did tear up, but so did you, you son of a bitch.
Absolutely not.
Jonathan Hedman asked, what Pokemon do you think would taste the best? Jigglypuff.
Oh, yeah, Jigglypuff's made of marshmallow,
Exactly,
I imagine.
In a sexual way.
I think Oddish sliced over whatever the closest one to a hot dog is.
That
would be
sounds
quite
like
nice.
radish.
Yeah, I'm sort of restrained by original 150 here. So
Jigglypuff
maybe there's some.
150?
I mean, there's
yeah.
So there's literally one called. There's one that is an
Bacon.
ice cream. So I imagine the ice cream one
That's
would
a
be
proper
the
lazy
most
day in the
delicious.
office, isn't it? Ice cream.
I mean, that was
Bolognese.
That was the year that they did an ice cream one that was a bin bag. The year after there was a set of keys.
What?
They really ran out of ideas.
Is it like
Oh.
that bit in Anchorman? It's like,
Generation
you're just
6.
saying things you could see in the office.
Yeah. Oh,
love
lamp one. There was a lamp one. Chandelier. That was
Chandelier. From Beauty and the Beast.
chandelier. I'd like to present to you your dinner.
That is my favorite. Like, I didn't like the live action Beauty and the Beast. I thought it was actually a pretty crap movie. But my favorite thing about it was
Homophone.
was Ewan McGregor's LOLO
yeah.
French accent.
Yeah.
He was like, "Oh, Bill, you are so beautiful in the morning. Come on, look at the castle." And I'm like, did you not get a dialect coach whatsoever, or did you just go in and be like,
Chateau.
"Oh, chateau, on est mort, on les voir,
Baguette.
baguette, striped jumper, garlic." That's basically what he did
He
for
was,
2 hours.
yeah. He was just saying the
was
word garlic
ludicrous.
over and over again. It's like extras when they just say cucumber in the background of singing.
One,
I was going to say Snorlax. I think you
got a lot of meat on him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of fat
I
there.
reckon Pikachu's surprisingly delicious.
You-
I'd kill and eat a Pikachu.
You monster.
Are we all excited for Detective Pikachu?
I am.
Hell yeah!
They did the press screening over the weekend, and I was actually a bit jealous of the people that got to go and see it because there was a giant Pikachu hanging out there, and so that was
I've met a
bit.
giant Pikachu.
But also,
How big?
Like really big.
Like bigger than this room.
Yeah.
Were they wearing stilts?
I've met both I've filmed a lot of stuff for Pokemon, so I've seen a lot of people in the outfits of Pikachu. So they used to have an old outfit that was like a big round one, and you weren't allowed to break the magic. Where the people who were inside only allowed to be in there for like 10 minutes because otherwise they will die because it is so hot. But yeah, seen that one, but then they got ones that were like fans. So like they sort of changed these costumes that people have for being mascots, and like a lot of them now are cloth that has like a portable fan inside that inflates it
right.
out.
Oh, I know what you mean.
So they've started doing that, like, I don't know if you've seen it on YouTube, but it got quite big for a while, like Pikachu dances. So they would get loads of dancers in this outfit.
Yeah.
I've seen this.
Because these outfits were so easy to sort of get hold of and make. Whereas this one Pikachu outfit that was at all these Pokemon events that I was filming at 3 years ago was just sent around the world because it was like the only one.
Whoa.
So it was full of sweat from hundreds of people who'd worn it. But yeah, then they started doing these fan dances with them. But there's one where one of the costumes malfunctions and the fan stops working, and Pikachu goes from fat, plump, round, lovely Pikachu to suddenly incredibly skinny Dallas Buyers Club Pikachu and has to be whisked away.
Juan Gabriel asks, what is your favorite MCU moment?
Huh.
I think mine's from Endgame, so I can't.
Oh, yeah, I think mine might be from Endgame.
So let's not say Endgame.
Excluding Endgame.
Excluding
Wow.
Endgame. That's a good question.
Would yours be from Endgame?
I rewatched Age of Ultron Saturday night, and I really love the bit of the hammer, and how that sets up the callback at the later point in the film.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Coolest moment.
So my favorite movie is Captain America: The Winter Soldier. So maybe it's something from that. Do you know what? Actually, do you know what my favorite part? Do you know what my favorite part of The Winter Soldier is? It is a movie that is it's the most grounded in reality movie. It is a movie that takes itself so dead seriously. Mm-hmm. We are a political thriller. We are talking about this, that, and the other. We're talking with very, 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 very real issues. And then at one point, two characters go into a bunker and speak to a computer that inhabits the soul and the intelligence of a Nazi from the World War II. And you're like, oh yeah, and it is a comic book movie. But also, the movie doesn't care. The movie's just like, oh yeah, and they're going to go talk to a robot now.
Yeah,
and you're like, and you'd sit there and go, okay, cool. Yeah, I buy it.
We all loved Armin Zola.
Yeah, and I remember going to the press screening of that, and I genuinely got excited when Arnim Zola showed up, because I'm like, oh, it's like Arnim Zola from the comic books. This is brilliant. I loved it.
Weirdly, I think my favorite character moment, just in terms of getting over a character, is from Captain America: The First Avenger, when he jumps over the hand grenade.
Yes.
And everyone else runs away.
Oh, yeah, particularly the guy that Tommy Lee Jones wants to pick. He's like, he's got to be the guy who we pick.
And that sends shivers down my spine just even thinking about it.
Oh, it's so good. We rewatched that quite recently. I absolutely love that film. Phil Stopford, who we're going to be seeing next Tuesday.
Age of Ultron.
Oh, yeah.
The hammer.
We're going to be seeing next Tuesday Phil Stopford at the Ready to Rumble screening.
Have you seen Ready to Rumble?
No, I'll probably
You've
watch
never
it.
seen it?
I'll watch it in the run-up.
We'll have to come up with some parties. We've got to watch it before we do it, haven't we?
Well, John Cena's in the movie, so when he shows up, he'll shout, "You can't see me." Yeah, he's one of the he's one of the trainers with Goldberg.
No.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Oh, you'd have learned that.
Wellicky.
We better be putting up a cameos you didn't know video.
We've got a we got a Where Are They Now article going up on the website.
Whoa.
Yeah. But he asked anyway. Says, "Hello, hope y'all okay. Walter versus
Phil
Trent
Stopford
7.
said that.
Yeah, Walter versus Trent 7 is going to be epic on Sunday. Are any of you going?"
Yeah,
yes, we are.
Yeah, we
are.
And Housemate Simon's going.
Housemate Simon's in too.
Yep.
They've actually released the brackets
Have they?
for Progress.
I did
now.
forget that's what we were doing on the weekend. It was like, I really knew there was in my mind. I was sitting here thinking, what will I do on the weekend? I'll probably watch Ready to Rumble now.
Yeah, it was Saturday.
Yeah.
I'm gonna see Endgame over the weekend. Do you want to see Endgame again before Progress?
What time does it start? Progress, I mean, not.
Yeah, but Progress starts at
Maybe you want Endgame.
3, I think. Like,
Okay.
I think
Like
the show
a nice
starts
11 o'clock.
Show
Endgame.
starts at 4.
Yeah.
I think Wood Green Cineworld.
As the Cineworld, which is I get to go there for now.
It's down the road.
And I'm going to go see it again on Thursday, so that'd be my third watch
no,
of it.
you don't want to. What, this Thursday?
This Thursday, yeah.
Oh, that's too many viewings.
I could definitely do it.
No, you're abusing the gift. You can't.
You can't rob the magic out of it.
No.
Oh no,
I've tried many times. Doesn't happen.
What do you think I did when I got
After
home?
a while, it's not but dust.
It's like Peter Parker at the end of Infinity War.
I don't want to go. I want you to go.
Robert says, using characters we haven't seen yet, remake the Avengers.
Avengers is a hot topic at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is, yeah.
We haven't seen.
He does say, though, you can use some characters from
Booster
TV
Gold.
shows because I love Black Bolt.
Okay. God, I forgot Inhumans
See, I wouldn't
happened.
mind doing.
I actually forgot it happened as
I was
well.
like, surely that was dropped.
You could do I'd like a young Avengers more than a remade Avengers. So I'd like to do like Kid Loki, like literally do like Kieran Gillen's Young Avengers run.
Yeah.
Kind of vibe.
Was Miss Marvel in that? Because
Yes.
I would like that.
Yeah,
I
she was-
really, really enjoyed the new version of Miss Marvel.
Yeah, so there was her, the young Hawkeye, Kate Bishop, Kid Loki. Who else was in it? Hulkling and what's his name? Magic Kid. It's like Scarlet.
That could just be
He's
his
like
name.
Scarlet Witch, but he's like what's his name? I can't remember. But
It's
he's got like
yeah.
warlocky powers.
It is tough to do the
Mysterio.
answer of like characters that we haven't seen because we have seen so many of the characters.
Yeah, what characters haven't been sort of
So
brought up yet?
Miss Marvel
Called
would be
up to the
one that
main roster.
I would go with because I like
feel
Miss
like
Marvel.
that's already done. Hal Jordan, maybe.
Green Lantern.
He's
mate.
part of the Scree, isn't he?
Wolverine. Now that we've got
Yeah.
and now we've got the X-Men universe in there, and the Thing. Because I really like Wolverine and the Thing into play.
Well, then you're gonna get into
it's
Reed
Wiccan was his
Richards.
name.
Well, maybe Reed. What's his name under the sea?
But I think Reed only works.
Namor.
Namor, Submariner.
Namor. There you go.
But I think Reed only works best
Xavier.
in Fantastic Four. Like I think he's like the Thing. You can kind of like go to other teams, but I think Reed Richards only works when he's part of the Fantastic Four.
Yeah, or part of the Illuminati.
Or part of the Illuminati. Yeah.
There must
Also,
be more
Daredevil.
characters that haven't
Daredevil.
been-
I
Avengers.
want Daredevil up on
Have
screen.
you seen Wolverine?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want Daredevil like movie version of Daredevil and the Punisher.
What, Ben Affleck?
yeah, the proper good one.
Yeah, the good one, the best one.
I was hoping that they would do one of the movies I'm hoping they announce for Phase 4 is Thunderbolts and
I'd love Thunderbolts.
bring together some of the villains that are still alive and also put in Frank Castle,
Ronan.
the Punisher, maybe Ronan in there. Or a Thunderbolts TV
Ronan's
series.
probably a bit big for Thunderbolts, surely.
Yeah, well, he's getting a TV series on Disney Plus.
Is he?
Yeah.
Is that Ronan Keating or Ronan?
Yeah.
Wait, I got my Ronans mixed up. Who's the blue guy? Blue Kree guy.
Oh, yeah, Ronan.
Ronan the-
That's what you
Ronan,
meant.
I meant
the-
Ronan.
Yeah, I know he meant Ronan.
Oh, I
yeah.
thought you meant like Ronin as
No, I
that's the
misspoke.
Hawkeye.
Naughty- naughty
Yeah.
Hawkeye.
He'd be about to be in Hawkeye. Yeah.
Yeah.
Naughty Hawkeye.
Yes, that's how he's-
Naughty Hawkeye.
That's how else he's known.
Put the knives down.
Jonathan said, if you could live in any fictional universe but still had to be you, what universe and why?
Oh, this is gonna. I've always wanted to do this. I'm honest to God, Pokemon.
Yeah.
I'd want.
Oh, yeah.
It's
You want to
really.
be the very best.
It's really cruel
no one
to
ever
animals.
was.
It's really cruel to animals.
Yeah.
But I love them.
Yeah.
I loved them as a kid. I used to sit around in DT. I've got vivid memory with my mate Jack, and we're just like, we would get sad because Pokemon wasn't real. And we were 13 years old. What about you guys?
Well, you don't want to say the MCU, do you? Because like there's like galactic battles and
you'll
stuff
die.
like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
I
would
would
die.
definitely be one of
Yeah.
those people that got killed.
Or
Yeah.
you might get
Off-screen.
superpowers. Just need the right sort of zap to get you.
Yeah, but then you have to fight everyone for a living.
exactly.
Like, you run the risk either way.
Yeah,
It's fun, isn't it?
Get buildings dropped on you and whatnot. Seems scary, mate.
It's too scary.
The Walking Dead. No, I'm kidding. That's a terrible choice.
That'd be right.
No, would it?
Be
no,
fine.
it'd be a terrible place to live.
Not enough people move to the top of skyscrapers. That's what I believe.
How do you get
Fictional
supplies?
universe.
I don't know.
That's
Not
a
a
bad
thought.
idea.
Get a helicopter.
Fuel? I guess you could find fuel.
That'd be
bits.
fuel.
I've just realised that the top of our pinball machine is still up on the set.
Oh, and we bin the rest of it.
Yeah. Look, it's there behind Ziggler and Ryback.
Luke, it's an audio
I set you all up for that as well, and it took you so long to get there. God, what fictional universe? Have you picked one?
No, not yet.
Oh, damn it.
Keep going. Digimon. Because I don't want to be the cool kid and be in Pokemon. I just want to be in the digital world.
Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah. Oh, Yu-Gi-Oh would be pretty good.
No, it wouldn't.
Yeah, it would.
I'd
Yu-Gi-Oh's
create,
like, it's just you go around playing cards everywhere. It's
I'd
great.
create a portal to come into your universe and bully you.
I need to
While
get
you're bringing your Pokemon.
Yeah. Flying on my Charizard,
Yeah.
burn all your cards.
You wouldn't have a Charizard.
I'd have
Think
the
how long
biggest Charizard.
think how long it would take to train.
Have a big Charizard. With the biggest.
Just stuck with a little Charmander forever. This lizard won't grow.
He's cuter that way. I'd stunt all their growth. They'd be my bonsai Pokemon.
So you
Level
want to like buy into the
99.
real cruelty
There is a
part
bonsai
of the
Pokemon. It's called
universe.
Bonsai.
Bonsai. Of course.
Bonsai.
They've done everything. What hasn't Pokemon exploited as a character yet?
Dildos.
Diglett!
Yeah, you don't know what it's like on the other
Doug
end.
Trio.
A double-sided
for the,
Diglett.
Lee Spicer has said,
Glass Diglett.
Lee Spicer has asked, did you guys watch Game of Thrones last night?
No, we didn't
Not yet.
You haven't watched any, have you?
No, I've caught up.
Oh, have you?
Yeah.
big episode last night. Luke's very interested. Battle of Winterfell.
Yeah, no, I'm going to watch it tonight. Cool.
Yeah, same. Apparently one of the biggest budget TV episodes ever made.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Apparently it's the longest on-screen battle in TV history, I think, is what I was seeing. I don't know. This is Chinese whispers, basically.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Apparently it's the best thing ever. God, imagine getting Endgame and the Battle of Winterfell.
Well, that's what I've been seeing
within
on
5 days.
That's what I've been seeing on like Twitter chat today, because I'm not asked about spoilers or anything like that. So I've seen a lot of people saying like, what an incredible weekend of entertainment that was.
What a time to be alive!
Exactly that. Yeah.
Unless you're Luke.
Well,
In which case, only
you get half of that.
I get
the time
half
to
of
be
that.
alive.
I'm interested in
Yeah.
half
You are
of those.
Thanos.
You got one side of the defibrillator.
Exactly, yeah. And last night my wife and I thought, let's watch reruns of Travel Man, because we really like that show. And I would just watch more of it.
Is that Richard Ayoade?
Good,
It is, yeah.
Good VO.
It's great VO. And
He really lays into the edit.
Oh,
doesn't
yeah,
he?
absolutely,
Like he's
yeah.
always like, well, this is a good shot to lay over
Yeah.
some other bits.
Because that bird flew away, we've had to cut to something else. And Scott has asked, can you pull the curtain back and talk us through a typical day at WrestleTalk? What's your typical day like?
My typical day is I get up at 6:30. If it's a Raw or SmackDown or pay-per-view, it's earlier. I look at all the stories. I get my little list of stories. Then I start to write the stories. And I write it all at home, just because it's easier, in my pajamas and dressing gown. And my little booties. I've got little slipper booties. Keep my feet warm.
I've got some slipper booties.
I feel like I've got bad circulation sometimes.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, my feet get very cold. But the
Shouldn't be typing with them.
my and then I cycle into work and I record, and then we just sit around. That's around 11:30 now. Get the images. The editor does all that, and then we sit around in the office, and then we'll make some more videos.
Yeah,
With
plan
the
out-
Wrestle Ramble.
Yeah, well, now we've got a whiteboard in the office to like plan out who's using the studio when.
What about you twos?
Don't do much.
Yeah, depends. If it's like a Raw or SmackDown day, then it's an earlier start, like a 5:30-ish, because those are long shows to get through. Because I live like an hour away from the studio as well. So then I'll do that, and then I'll get together new stories that I need to do or any notes that I've got, jump on the tube, and then I write my scripts on the tube, get into the office, and then come and record my videos, go back and do images. And then, if it's a Raw SmackDown day, prep the live stream for that sort of thing, do the thumbnail and things like that, and then editing podcasts.
Oh, yeah, we're going through the whole thing.
Yeah,
Sure, why? I get up, look for stories for Screen Stalker usually. Write on the train, write a bit when I get in, record some, send it off. That's all done.
Bish bash bosh.
Bish bash bosh, that's all done. And then either recording some Let's Play stuff or prepping for NXT when we do that on Thursday, or editing, usually, for the rest of the day.
Felt like that was a very low end. All of us there.
That's 'cause we've got to
We're
talk
having
about
loads
work.
of fun. We're having.
It's just got very, talk about your day. And
Talk
then you
about-
go home and it's great.
Talk about shop.
Yeah.
Frank asks, what Marvel show on Disney's new streaming service are you most
good
excited
question.
for?
Hawkeye!
Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah. So we've got those two. We've got Loki
Yep,
as
and
well.
WandaVision.
I've got to say, man, I think Loki's my one. WandaVision is my least. I'm least into that.
Yeah.
Unless they.
It's going to be like the Adventures of Lois and Clark. I feel like.
Unless, and I read this online, I can't take credit for this theory, and it isn't a spoiler for Endgame. It's only a spoiler for Infinity War. So we can do that, I guess.
Yep.
How they got to Scotland.
Yeah, well, they. So Vision is dead. Scarlet Witch goes crazy, brings back Vision, and creates an idealized 1950s setting for them both. Because
okay.
it's set in the 50s.
The show is?
Yeah, it's like set in maybe not the 50s, but it's set in a kind of Stepford Wives scenario.
So it's like the Vision comics that came out a couple of years ago.
Oh, I haven't read
Which
those.
was like the Vision family.
Yeah, so I just think maybe it's Wanda, isn't it? has just, gone sort of House of M crazy, constructed a whole reality. And that's how you make that show interesting. Because as you pointed out, it doesn't, of all the things they could have done, that does. Why would you do
I'm not going to complain about more Elizabeth Olsen in my life, so I'm perfectly happy with it. I just hope the theme song.
Have you tried Google?
I'm just hoping the theme song is Wonder Wonder Vision, or Wonder Vision, Wonder Wonder Vision.
Do they know the Chuckle Brothers in the US?
They're about to Google it now.
Is that a big thing?
So Wonder Vision is the one I'm least excited for. So I'm going to go with Falcon and Winter Soldier. I think that's going to be pretty badass.
And then Loki and then Hawkeye?
Yeah, the Hawkeye.
You love Hawkeye.
I like Hawkeye.
Hawkeye one I'm less into.
Hawkeye.
I showed my lady partner. She was asking about all the other Avengers. I was like, yeah, but you're not giving Hawkeye enough credit here. And I got out my Matt Fraction comics.
Oh, the Hawkeye stuff.
Yeah. And I showed her, look how good the art is.
Yeah,
and she was like, it's pretty nice.
Yeah,
look at this issue. It's all from the perspective of a dog. She's like, it's cooler than what you're making it out to be.
That's why I want the Hawkeye series, because I want it to be that Hawkeye. But that probably involves undoing a lot of stuff.
Yeah. So I like Old Man Hawkeye. That's my favorite my favorite version of Hawkeye.
I like Landlord Hawkeye.
But yeah, I do. Yeah, I just really like Hawkeye as a character. That's like, I love the Matt Fraction series because it's not about him being an Avenger. It's just about him being Clint.
Yeah,
bro.
But they just couldn't call it Clint.
Yeah.
The series. So
I'm hoping there are going to be some good budgets behind it. I mean, imagine there will be some decent budgets behind these streaming services. What you don't want it to be is like a Brian Michael Bendis comic where he's run out of money and he's got nothing else to do, so it's just the Avengers sitting around talking about how much they get paid for a whole issue.
Hey!
I'm going to bury Bendis at every
Bendis Do you not like Bendis?
I think Bendis is fine. I like a lot of, and that actually that is a bit harsh. I do like a lot of Bendis's work, but that comic always comes back to mind, and I was be like, this is why people don't like Bendis.
Where was what in the New Avengers run?
Yeah,
where was it?
It was, I can't remember, it was when Wolverine and the Thing were part of the team. I think Spider-Man was part of the team as well. And it is just them sitting around the breakfast table with the Thing saying I get good pay for being an Avenger, but actually my Fantastic Four paycheck's much better. So I'd much rather do that sort of work. And then Wolverine's just like, oh, wow, I get paid much more to be an Avenger than to do an X-Man. And I'm sitting there on the lav reading this going I paid, what do I buy this for? This is crap, literally.
So you don't like it because you think they should be doing it out of the goodness of their hearts?
No, I just think I don't want to be spending 20 pages with characters talking about how much they get paid. That's not fun. But
it's growth. It's growth.
Yeah, I think Bendis is scripted because I think Bendis is especially with that whole long Daredevil run he had. It's easy.
Daredevil's the best stuff that Daredevil's ever done is the Bendis run.
So when I think of Bendis, my mind goes to that because that was the first thing I read of his. And I think he's this super serious, overwrought writer. But what Avengers showed me was he's so funny. And those sorts of just offhand exchanges between the Avengers,
which is great. If it's an offhand exchange, it's a whole comic of it, which is when it starts to fall apart.
I don't know. I think
you need a space a week sometimes.
Yeah. Sometimes those release schedules, they want to go bi-monthly.
Yeah, because he's writing 500 other things at the time. That's the thing, it's Bendis. He's writing loads. I was going to
say, in fairness
so
to him,
he's with DC now as well, isn't he?
He is, yeah.
I haven't read any of his DC stuff.
No, neither have I.
Is he doing Superman? I think he's doing. Is he doing Superman?
So DC, the service that's not available over here yet, the sort of over the top everything. They've put up all of the comics, so it's every single comic with a sort of 6-month delay, just like Marvel Unlimited now. But yeah, that's.
I don't want a 6-month delay. I want a.
You want all of it now. Yeah, I know it's annoying.
Stupid.
You want the Spotify of comics.
Yeah, stupid.
Lee has also messaged to say that I think we missed out a question from the mailbag. It must have just that's my fault. I'll be honest with you. But he said because of the WrestleMania madness, what if Roman Reigns turned heel? Would you like to see him with Akam and Rezar in a faction? And I guess just because they wear flak vests
and Samoan.
What? But no, Roman's Armenian.
They're not Samoan.
They're not Samoan.
No.
They've got the body shape.
Big.
Yeah.
Big lads.
Big lads.
So to answer, no, that is not a faction I would like to see. The Usos are the only people I would like to see as his heavies.
Yeah.
Or Bo Dallas.
He needs to be with people, but he needs to be with charismatic people. I feel like he needs charismatic guys around him to be the wild cards. Like he needs a Dean and he needs a Seth.
He's the mob boss, isn't he?
Yeah.
And then you put the colour around him.
We got this message in from Lewis as well, saying it's Lewis Dangor, saying who we're going to see on Wednesday.
Yeah, we're going for a drink with him.
No question. Just thought I'd let Luke know that my name is like Laurie rather than Lewis.
So Louis.
I was Louis. I've been saying Louis, and then I keep thinking he corrects me to be Lewis, so I changed my mind, but it is Louis. Yeah.
Just got that
Yeah.
that voice
I've
in the
got-
back
I know,
of your head
it's
always saying, you're not good enough, Luke. You're saying the name wrong.
That's the thing I missed out from my like day-to-day schedule. It's that I wake up in the morning
Self-doubt,
with crippling self-doubt. People going like, "You're an idiot. You're an absolute loser and a total coin, and no one likes you."
I won't text you that anymore if it's not constructive.
Morning. Should stop having
Anyway,
it as
have
your-
a great day.
Should stop having it as your alarm.
Yeah, and he said it's lucky your new cracking hairdo makes up for the mistake, or lack of hairdo, I should say, because there isn't one there anymore.
There's hair. I can see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's growing back
It's got
slightly,
colour.
but yeah, that's the most annoying thing about my hair is that
That's
it
why I'm
grows
wearing a hat.
fast,
I
but
didn't
it's just
mind-
none
I
of
haven't
it.
shaved my head for a while.
Oh, what does
so
yours look like when it's longer?
Quite long.
Oh, well, that's the longest I've ever seen it.
It's been lazy.
That just reminded me, I was actually meant to buy clippers today and I forgot. That guy who wants to support said, if you were to start a boy band with the three of you and Chopper and Andy, what would your name and character be? Like the pretty one, the sensitive one, the one writing songs, etc.
So you're asking for a Spice Girls or a Take That style split of... I think we're all more three-dimensional than that, aren't we?
Yeah.
And we also blend into the same person.
Yeah.
There's very little diversity between
Because
us
I'm
all.
both scary and angry Spice. So it's, yeah. I've got
Do you know the,
two dimensions to me.
The Spice names.
And Ginger.
And Ginger, my lord.
This might be an 80% fact, but the Spice names for the Spice Girls wasn't actually come up by a PR team. It was actually done by Pop, like a pop magazine, like Pop Hits or something.
Or just trying to work out.
They just like gave them and just being like, Jerry is the ginger one, Emma is the baby one. And then the PR team sort of jumped onto that and be like, okay, well now we'll create as a brand around that.
Posh Spice.
What did Brian Alvarez used to say about the Young Bucks? Because that
Oh,
sounds like
the
how
blonde,
he...
he used to call them the blonde buck and the not blonde buck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Similar thing,
Yeah.
I guess. But I don't know. What are the traits?
Well, I think
so you've got three of them down.
He'd be
I
like,
feel like the traits of
you'd be
boy
Jay
bands are like
from
there's
Five.
the wholesome one, the bad boy one,
you're so Jay
the
from
one
Five.
who wears a vest,
Which is also Jay from
the
Five.
one who hits the high notes,
That'd be Datsun.
so the one who can actually sing,
Yeah.
and then the one who raps,
You're the rap.
I guess I'd be the rap
Yeah.
one, yeah.
and then the one who will leave to have an ill-fated solo career, like
Hey,
Robbie,
Robbie did
or
okay.
Brian
Yeah, I was
McFadden
gonna- yeah.
from Westlife.
Did Brian McFadden end up on Coronation Street, or was that...
So he had a successful solo career.
No. was that Kieran?
That was
Kieran?
but also one of Take That was. on
Oh
Corrie,
no,
wasn't
yeah,
he?
it wasn't. Was it? It was. Yeah, I can't remember.
Jason Orange.
No, it wasn't Jason Orange. He's
The
Take
other
That,
one.
isn't he? He was from back.
Take That he's
Take
from.
No, he
Howard.
wasn't from Take That. He was from Boyzone, the one from Curry.
Oh, yeah.
Jason Orange was from Take
yeah,
That,
Yeah,
though.
yeah.
My mum met Jason Orange quite recently. She got dead excited about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's about the only person. I
Still
think
got their
you
power.
probably would.
That's it. Holding on to it.
Connor asked again. I don't think we can get into this because it's spoilers. What will happen next in the MCU? Although he's called it the Marvel Ceramic Universe, but I guess that was
Hey.
probably autocorrect.
Slightly better.
I think I prefer that. I'm going to refer to it
Yeah.
from now on the Marvel Ceramic Universe.
Is there a way to answer
Ocarina
this
forever.
without spoiling anything? Where do they go from here?
Oh, I know where they're going to go. More movies.
Oh,
More
yeah, very
movies
good.
with characters, and those characters will do things
Black Panther
that
2?
will set up other
They've
movies.
said about that. That's happening.
Doctor Strange
Doctor Strange
2 was
2,
set
yeah.
up as
2,
well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Spider-Man
but-
Far From Home.
but are these
That's
not-
happening.
It's a Sony movie.
It's a Sony
Oh,
movie.
it's a
now.
oh, God damn it!
Bloody Sony.
I'm going to say end of Phase 4, start of Phase 5, X-Men and Fantastic Four are retconned in.
Yeah.
That's nothing new.
I think they're going to do. Here's my big pitch. I think they're going to do a Marvel press conference where they're going to announce the Phase 4 lineup. Although they said they're not going to call it Phase 4 anymore. They're doing away with phases.
Let's see.
yeah.
Let's see what happens.
And I think they're going to plot out all of these movies, and I think they're going to do the what they did last time with Civil War, which is they announced it as Captain America Serpent Society. And then at the end of the press conference, they're going to rename it and do the big reveal of something else. And it will be the last Avengers movie will have a title, and then they'll say that's the end of it, and then it will have a big video, and it will actually change up being to Avengers versus X-Men. And they'll have like some of the Avengers walk out on stage, and the new cast of X-Men walk out next
With
to
Hugh
them.
Jackman.
Possibly with Hugh Jackman. Huge action. And
Huge jacked man.
and then they'll and that would be how you end it, with the crowd going wild, because you're going to do Avengers X-Men.
show.
We let it up, we won't come down. Asan says, what's your favorite MCU character and why?
Hawkeye.
So this is MCU, the treatment of cinematic universe. Does Daredevil count?
They're technically within that
MTU.
universe.
They are the MTU.
MTU.
MNU.
And not the bad side of the MTU.
Yeah, not the Agents of
Not
S.H.I.E.L.D.
the Shield,
yeah.
Carter stuff.
Yeah. S.H.I.E.L.D. is like, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is the Gotham of Marvel TV shows.
Some of it was okay. It was just a bit cheesy. It was
Yeah, so it was like Gotham then.
real cheesy.
I was so ramped up for that show. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Well, that's
we all
because-
sat around.
Well, that's because so did we. That's because they sold us a bad bill of goods. They told
Yeah.
us this is really going to play into the movies. There's going to be crossovers with the movies. You're going to have to watch the TV show because that will fill in some of the gaps of the movies. Then you realise
And then
quite
Sif
quickly.
turned up one time.
No, and Nick Fury shows up once. And you're like, you're like, this isn't tying.
It's
into
villain
the-
of the week.
Yeah, it's Monster of the Week. It's a typical Joss Whedon show, but
Bad
one of
graphics,
the not
bad
very good
effects.
ones.
Bad
I
effects.
remember, because I was writing reviews for it for Flicker and Myth, and I remember when, at the end of the first episode, when they get into Coulson's car and it turns into a flying car.
Like Grease.
And I turned to my then girlfriend, now wife, and I was like, this is going to be a very bad show. This is going to be very, very bad.
I was sort of that. No, it was good. It was okay.
It's all right.
And it took us 6 episodes to go like, I'm not watching this anymore.
I think I
This
watched
is
all
bull.
of season 1.
Really?
I started watching season 2 when they did the Winter Soldier crossover.
Everyone
with
said
Hydra
season
thing.
2 was where it got good. If
It started
my-
to get
my
good. It
favourite
started to get
reviews of
good. It
TV shows.
started
Yeah.
to get good around the Hydra thing. I didn't like. It was watchable before that, but it wasn't something I was like appointment to view.
Hail Hydra.
But even
not a
then,
spoiler.
that's more the movies.
It's more a spoiler when you say
It's not a spoiler.
That's more. I think that's more of a like that's the movies dictating the TV show as opposed to the TV show tying into the stories.
Yes,
Of
yeah,
being like
yeah,
the TV show's got like, oh god, now we've got to do this.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
it was
that's
cool
our-
though. It actually felt like a proper event then because something massive happened that shook the whole foundation of this show.
My Gotham mention did exactly what I wanted to do because poor old Dan, Gotham's biggest fan, messaged to say the Gotham is really good.
Yeah.
I think it's worth mentioning every time that I think it's a bit.
What was
pants.
the original question there?
Who's your favorite MCU character?
And
Oh
why?
wow, we didn't not even get close to that.
Well, you said
I
Hawkeye.
said
Oh,
Hawkeye.
you said Hawkeye.
Yeah, so we got 1/3 there.
Because he's a human.
You know what? Cap.
Yeah,
I just think there's something about Cap that is so morally strong.
and he's the best thing in most of the
Yeah.
movies.
Well, not to everyone. My lady partner just looks at him and says he's vanilla, bland, and she loves Tony. But whereas your lady partner's the opposite.
Binary
Team
choice.
Cap.
It's a
She's
binary
Team Cap,
choice.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Cap
It's
as
like
well.
Jacob and
not,
Edward.
If not Cap, I'm going with Ant-Man.
It's a Twilight reference.
I love Scott Lang, love Paul Rudd, and I love Ant-Man. And I've, as much as Ant-Man and the Wasp is, average at best, it is totally fine. It is a totally fine movie, better than Doctor Strange. It's I love Paul Rudd in it, and I love Evangeline Lilly, and I really like Hank Pym, and I'm excited to see where it can go now with Michelle Pfeiffer. My hope is that the next movie, because it was Ant-Man, then Ant-Man and the Wasp. I want the next movie to be Ant-Man and the Wasp and Ant-Man and the Wasp. And they do like a big 4 team up with Hank Pym and Janet Van Dyne getting into the suits
And
again.
Ant-Man, Man, and the Wasp.
Yeah, that's exactly what I want.
I tell you what, never play Snog, Marry, Avoid with the MCU with your significant other.
Oh yeah,
It'll only make you feel inadequate. Because
In what
Thor's
sense?
going to get picked as Snog.
yeah,
Paul Rudd was picked as Marry.
yeah,
Oh.
And I think Avoid was, it was Hulk.
yeah.
Yeah.
I know this is sort of a bit visual. It's not even visual because we can't even put it up onto the TV. But did you ever watch the show Billy on the Street?
Yes.
If you go off this page, does it stop the streaming?
Oh yeah, that's a good point. I don't think it would do because I think you have to
We'd
click.
lose, we'd lose. the
Yeah.
thing.
Fill for time while I'm doing this.
Don't feel for time, Laurie. Make him type faster.
Okay, got it.
So what is this?
So Billy on the Street is Billy Eichner, the comedian from
yes,
Friends
yeah.
from College. So he had this show called Billy on the Street, which was essentially the cheapest TV show that you could possibly make because it's him and a guy with a camera, and he's just got a microphone that is connected to the camera. It's just Voxbox stuff, and it's usually him running up to people in the street, shouting something at them, usually with a question, feel like, for $1, would you do this? And then people react to it, and then he just runs off to the next one. But it's him just yelling at people,
like Davina McCall in Street Date.
Yes,
Yeah.
But this is
That's an abrasive show.
but it's less set up than Street Date as well.
Okay.
But it's this is Billy on the Street, and usually you would have like a guest on. So you'll have like Amy Poehler or Chris Pratt or something like that. This is an episode he did with Paul Rudd, where for $1, would you have sex with Paul Rudd? But it's just these are the reason why I love Billy Eichner and why I'm excited to see him as Timon in the Lion King movie. I think that's
is
really
that
good.
who he is?
Yeah, and Seth Rogen is Pumbaa.
Yeah.
Which is great casting.
Is everyone going to be able to hear this?
Before I do this, sorry, I just only realised that the live stream is going to be on. So mute the live stream and then come back to here, full screen.
Should I point my mic?
With the delightful Paul Rudd, ready for a special lightning round that I like to call, would you have sex with Paul Rudd? Paul and I are going to run around and find out which New Yorkers would like to have sex with the charming and absolutely adorable Paul Rudd. Are you ready, Paul? Yeah. Take my hand. Let's go. Miss, for $1, would you have sex with Paul Rudd? That's Paul.
Of course I would.
Yes, thank you. Here's $1.
Yeah.
Yes. Are you married?
I'm not married. I'm single, ready to mingle.
Well, okay. Well, he's married with kids. Bye. Miss, for $1. Miss, for $1. Would you have sex with Paul Rudd?
Yeah.
Yes, here's $1. Here, would you have sex with Paul Rudd? Yes, there you go. Let's go.
I think they just want dollars.
Sir, for $1.
I don't see it,
Would you have
frankly.
sex with Paul Rudd? Look at his eyes.
No,
Why?
because he's a man.
Oh, but look how adorable he is.
Okay, he's cute, okay.
Okay, there you go. Take $1. Let's go. Everyone wants to have sex with Paul Rudd. Miss, for $1. Would you have sex with Paul Rudd?
No, I'm married. I'm
Oh, yeah, but still. No one will know.
faithful to my husband.
No one will know.
I'm so sorry.
No one will know. Miss, for $1.
He's so
For $1,
good,
would
Billy
you have sex
Eichner.
with Paul Rudd? He's right here. What?
I would for nothing.
Yes, take your $1. Yes, thank you. Would you have sex with them?
Free.
Not for
I'll do it free.
She'll do it free. I'll take your $1. Here at the same time. Thank you.
Give me the $1.
Sex with Paul Rudd.
I want to buy a paper.
Yes, thank you. Tell Paul Rudd how beautiful his eyes are.
Your eyes are so beautiful.
Yes. Tell us more about him.
You're a great actor.
Yes.
I'm sorry that you're being paraded around on the street like.
Excuse me. $1. Wench. Let's go.
Which?
It's an old-fashioned wench.
Wench.
Was that Jessica Chastain? I hope not. Miss, for $1, would you have sex with Paul Rudd?
Yes.
Yes, thank you. Take it.
You can have a hug, Paul Rudd.
Yeah, no, I did not say a hug. No, get away from him.
Hug me.
Let's go. Paul Rudd, let's go. No. Oh, Miss, for $1, would you like to have sex with Paul Rudd, the actor?
No.
Oh, boy. No one wants to have sex with you. I know. You should have never done dinner for schmucks. Yeah, I told you that.
What has affected this Paul?
Sir, for $1, you want to have sex with Paul Rudd? He's right here.
$5.
No.
2?
No.
I can't do it for 1.
Excuse me. Get out of here. You don't need that gay crap. Boy. If you're gonna have sex with a gay person, go Jim Parsons or go home! Miss, for $1, would you have sex with the delightful Paul Rudd?
Yes.
Yes, thank you, take it! Not you! Get away, he doesn't like you! Who wants to have sex with Paul Rudd? He has more money than Jason Segel! What do you have? Who? What?
It's ridiculous.
What a great show.
Wow.
Yeah. Anyway,
I bet that was great video content.
the best.
Yes.
Back to questions.
I forgot we were being filmed.
This is what I like about Ramble Club.
Yeah.
It is the most rambly of all the shows we do. Jonathan says, if you could only have one superpower, what would it be? Remember, there are pros and cons to every power except one. Also, remember to take into consideration that you are still you, brackets,
Biggest
human.
penis.
But there are pros and cons to that, aren't there?
There aren't. Not if you have an Ant-Man style and you can change the size.
What is the... That's what I said to Hannah when she picked Ant-Man. I was really a small dick.
Minuscule.
Yeah. We've done this before, haven't we? We've done this quite a few times.
I think I'd always
I
say...
always go for Bernard's watch.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a superpower.
Or just a
It's a
gimmick.
super-powered object.
Well, Jonathan also asked, if you could mess with a famous person from
Get more work
history,
done.
what would it
Yeah, sure, yeah.
If you could mess with a famous person from history, who would it be and why?
Mess with them. Huh. From history.
Yeah.
Huh.
feel like you'd want to mess with Hitler. Like,
I mean, what would you want to like
Prank him.
Mess with is such a. What do you mean by mess with?
Yeah.
I'd cut
like
out the
pranking
middle
them.
of his moustache.
Oh, so
That'd
it's
be
like two
funny.
pieces.
Yeah, so he had it was like a pause sign.
I think that's probably the best answer we're going to get.
Maybe Mao. I don't know. Yeah, just do something.
Chairman Mao.
I never liked Stalin. I'd do something to make Stalin look stupid. Like just draw rings around his eyes.
So you want to do that to Pol Pot?
Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're sort
like
of
people's
classic
glasses.
dictators when just before they're about to make a big address to loads of people, you do something like you put stuff on their
belittle
right.
them.
Yeah.
Change
so
all the
they
papers,
don't know.
Yeah, change all the papers to say Hatler rather than Hitler. It's that kind of small stuff that
This is
will.
a good one from Paulie Dangerously Jarman. He says, "Hey chaps, I'm sat on a rather lovely sunny holiday at the moment. So when the notification popped up for questions, I thought, what are your ideal holiday destinations? Somewhere you really want to go for whatever reason, not wrestling related. Cheers, Paulie Dangerously Jarman.
Japan, I would like to go to.
I can't wait. I'm going there in October, and I'm so excited.
For the World Cup, for the Rugby World Cup.
Don't remind me.
For the rugger.
Dreadful
Was it
era.
more expensive?
No. And it wasn't more
okay.
expensive. And we managed to get a hotel really easily, which does make me hope that there's not going to be a load of rugby twats around and it's just going to be fine. Because I know there are rugby fans that are normal.
Say
but
the vast majority are.
Absolutely. But the only ones I've ever encountered are knobheads. And I just think of
Was
like
it because you were prefacing meeting them with hi knobhead?
and like rugby people at university were all tools as well, because they're all like, their initiations are, can you fit all these felt tips up your bum? Then you can play on the team.
Again, I'm sorry about that.
Well, I didn't want to go on the rugby team.
These things
Look
are
at me.
necessary
Look
to
at me. I'd
know
be
if you're
killed
good at
on a
rugby.
rugby field. I'd be absolutely decimated.
Fly half. I don't know what that is. You just run. Don't go in the scrummage.
Even then I would be caught.
I've seen
Running
the
is not much
closest to Luke playing rugby possible, which was at Dan Stag, where we played the Zorb football thing.
In my
You
defense,
told me about
I was so hungover.
Luke took a hit from the Zorb from someone else, and he went flying into some bins a good 10 yards away.
It just like every time I got hit with the sword and I fell down, I'd just go, oh, because I was so hungover, and then I wouldn't want to get back up.
You could hit, but that is when I was on the opposite team, and whenever I was running at Luke or like running behind Luke when he had the ball, all I could hear was him go, "Oh," as he heard someone come up behind. So I started going, "Ah!" coming up behind, just so he knew. Oh,
I was like, oh no.
Yeah. I remember when you told me about that. I think the day after, you're like, oh, I was so hungover. It was the worst experience.
I
It was
think,
bad for everyone though, because it was like being in an airless pocket while sweating profusely. So
Mason-
the more you sweated, the less air there was
Yeah.
in the thing that you were trying to breathe through.
our mate Mason had to take like quite a few puke breaks.
He
like
puked multiple times.
Yeah, like after a game, he'd be like, I'll go to the toilet for a minute.
Tim
lads,
got
I'll be
turned
back in a
upside
minute."
down and almost suffocated. So that was
Bless.
Well, he meant to sort of bounce. Like the whole point is that you kind of bounce
Yeah,
around
yeah.
and roll back on your feet. But someone managed to upend him so perfectly that he landed on the top of the ball. But then obviously the air hole at the top sealed to the floor.
Oh.
So we were all like, ha 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 ha. He was like, I could breathe. And eventually flipped him over.
Good day.
Yeah, great day.
There should be a rule where if you vom, it's in there with you. And you're
But
just
I
gonna
did
get
say, and I
covered.
remember saying this on the podcast.
I don't think
at
the people
time,
you rent it from are
that
like
I just think that the day was like the stag do was organised the wrong way round. We should have been doing the Doctor Who experience on the Sunday when we're just all hungover and tired and can just walk around and look at the crap props from a TV show, as opposed to
They are
doing the
bad props.
active. They are bad props. Me and Laurie,
90% of the things are bins.
me, Laurie, and
Wrapped in
Mason
bubble
went on our
wrap.
own little adventure, taking photos of anything other. Like, so we were going around. There were people taking photos of the Cybermen, and then it would be me, Laurie, and Mason taking a photo of like the fire hydrant that's next to the Cybermen. I might have
Classic.
those photos. on
Yeah, just
here,
got to have your
actually.
own. Just got to find your own joy at
Spark-
things you don't understand.
Spark joy.
Spark Joy.
Dan, you did miss the answer to your question, but you'll be able to hear it on the catch-up. Kelton says, what's your favourite wrestling-based commercial? It could be one for the pay-per-view commercials or just commercial with a wrestler in it.
Hulk Hogan did a commercial for a Dutch internet security firm. Oh, that was really funny. Is that what you mean?
I think that's what he means.
Or do you mean
yeah.
promos?
No. I think that's exactly what he means. I would go with
There's a
that
John
Royal
Cena one
Rumble
doing the
one.
rounds now.
That Royal Rumble one where they're doing West Side
Oh,
Story is my pick.
There's the Macho Man Slim Jims. The John Cena one, is that the one with the vodka?
Oh, it might be.
He's doing like a sort of Old Spice presentation as a boy band guy giving an inspirational speech.
Yes.
Yeah, that's good.
Another question. This one comes in from Laura, who says, more sleepwalking stories from Luke, please.
Yay.
I can't remember which ones I would have told or not. Was I tell one about when I was under the beds?
You're sleeping wrong.
Well, I
Failed at the first hurdle.
I actually had one after Avengers Endgame, actually.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, like an Avengers Endgame based sleepwalking story.
Whoa.
Where I was just like, in my dream, me, Ant-Man and the Wasp were all hanging out. And then
Loves Ant-Man.
Ant-Man and the Wasp, like, they shrunk down, but they then got caught in the duvet. So I was like, then they were trapped in the duvet, and I was like, well, they're going to suffocate in there. So I was then like flinging the duvet, trying to like shake them out or like trying to help them free until my wife Lena was like, what are you doing? And I was like, I've got to save them. I've got to save them. I was like getting out of bed to try and like ruffle up the duvet a little bit. And then she eventually essentially pulled me back into bed. But I went to sleep feeling so guilty.
You killed Ant-Man.
Because I hadn't saved them. And I was like, I mean, what am I going to say in the morning? Like when they're dead? And I didn't do anything.
First thing he's going to do when he comes in is going to go, I lost the kid.
So yeah, that's the most recent one, I think.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
It's a good one. And relevant.
Yeah, and then there was so I was under the bed. I thought I dropped something under the bed, so I got out of the bed, started moving boxes around that are under our bed to try and find it. But obviously, all my wife can hear when she wakes up is someone underneath the bed scratching at the floor and scratching at the bed frame, and me not in the bed. So she instantly woke up with a panic, and I then woke up to the point where I realised, I'm sleepwalking. Oh no, I'm under the bed, and oh no, she's probably very scared. So I just lifted my head above the bed and went, sorry.
So why were you under the bed?
I thought I dropped something. I thought something was under the bed and I need to go get it.
And why were you scratching up on the bed frame?
Because I thought it was underneath the mattress, like between the mattress and the slats.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Did you drop
It's
Ant-Man?
incredibly annoying that you have so many bed-based sleepwalking escapades.
Oh yeah, I don't get very far.
Yeah. You need
Probably
more
for the best.
You need more that's just like, I think I need to go sit quietly on the sofa for a bit and then come back to bed.
I think I told you this one, but Ollie has got the evidence of this. I got up and started working. And I got up and I got to my office, sat down, set up my desk, and I got the podcast stats for that week and sent him an email at 2:30 in the morning.
Yeah. I was like, what is Luke doing?
Then I realised I went back to bed. That guy who wants to support said, Ollie, what will you say to Alexa if you were a guest on A Moment of Bliss?
Stop this. Just stop this show now. It's not fun. It doesn't get anyone over. There hasn't been one successful episode of this.
You're the worst Jerry Springer since Jerry Springer.
What is your character? Are you a good guy or a bad guy? Or just someone in between? Someone who enforces the rules?
Lee Spicer also asked, which WWE superstar do you think is in badly need of a gimmick change?
Ooh. Oh, I was going to say Dolph Ziggler, but he's far gone. I feel like everyone who is in need of a gimmick change, they've done so. Robert Roode, Bray Wyatt.
Bazza Corbs.
He does need to get out of that gimmick, yeah. Ricochet,
Get out of that
only just want to
waistcoat.
get rid of those gun sounds. Pew, pew, pew. I think that would probably help.
I don't feel like Ricochet has a proper gimmick yet, though.
Maybe where he needs to
And I'm not
change.
bored of him yet. But yeah,
You
Baron
can flip
Corbin,
it
definitely.
infinite flips.
And I guess this actually might be our very last question.
Well, until we get on to Big Apple Takedown.
which is from Christopher Mannering. He says, have you had any supernatural experiences? Brackets, do you believe in ghosts?
I don't, but and I haven't had any supernatural experiences. My dad was a fireman, and a lot of firemen used to do other jobs. As firemen are quite famously not paid very well. One of the guys...
Fire people, Laurie.
They were called firemen at the time.
Also,
it was the 90s.
more hot political takes
Yeah.
from the RambleClub podcast.
One of the guys my dad used to work with was a night porter at one of the theatres in London. And it was very, like, reported to be haunted, and he said that they had like a little booth where the night sort of porter would sit for most of the evening, and he'd sit in there and he'd have his like little telly on and watch stuff. And he said one night he just heard like there was a little, it was like towards the back door, so there was steps coming down from the theatre, and then a little corridor past his booth, and then out the door, and you couldn't see out the booth. I think it was like a little window, but he was looking away. And he said he heard just the door creak open and then just down the steps and then like along the floor and stopped outside the booth and then turned around and walked back. And there was no one in the theatre because obviously you lock up. Oh. And like he said that happened like most nights.
Whoa.
He was a wreck. This is someone who like goes into fires for a living, and he's like, the footsteps of the night, the footsteps of the night.
Oh man,
Horrible.
Yeah. I don't believe in ghosts, but stories like that terrify me. Mm-hmm. There's no like my rational brain still freaks out. I don't have any ghost stories, but my one of the houses I used to live in as a kid, I would always, as like a 7-year-old boy, say my room was really cold, and I'd, like once or twice a week go into my parents' room saying, "Oh, the room's really cold. It's too cold in there," when it was totally fine. And my mum only told me, like when I was 20, yeah, you used to do that a lot, and we always thought it was because the previous occupants, their son hung himself in that room. I was like, what?
Mate.
So that's yeah,
that's not good.
Ooh. Your parents were like, fine.
Yeah, they were like, oh,
You can
come
stay
in.
Yeah, it's fine. Go
Warm
on.
up.
Oh, I know what fictional world I'd like to live in.
Oh, go on.
Ghostbusters. Just because I can then be a Ghostbuster.
Yeah, that's a good shout for you. Any supernatural experiences? Supernatural.
I don't think I've ever had any supernatural experiences. No. And I was going to say an 80% fact then, but I can't even remember enough of it to be 80%. But
40%.
there was someone, my wife told me there was a podcast that she listened to that gave sort of like a scientific rationale behind why people think they have supernatural experiences. But I can't remember what it is. So, great story.
Should we move on to?
Do you want to get that started?
On that hot
I
moment?
am going to take a quick
story.
toilet take.
Toilet take?
Toilet take. So if you can carry on while I do a toilet break.
Do you mind if we get started?
You
with
absolutely crack on.
Do you know? Can you remember where we were, Laurie?
No idea.
So Tori
I'll
has.
admit that I was barely paying attention.
So Vince, I've forgotten where we were as well. He was the chairman. Right. So Vince and Tori are together. Mm-hmm. Ringing of music.
Aren't the other guys all in the basement?
Yeah, they are. Vince is worried.
Right.
Vince is worried that the guys are doing a mission, and Tori comes in and's like, I've got a date with this Dietrich guy who is at the top of the criminal cell. And should I meet you there? Yep, so Tori spoke to him on the phone. Vince listened in. Things were looking good. Hunter, Chavo, and Batista were in at the warehouse. Tori was making headway with Masterson, and Cena was on call for backup, should it become necessary. Things couldn't be going better, which only forced Vince to wonder, what's next?
What is next?
Oh, chapter 10 is next, I'll tell you.
Excellent.
Page 111 out of how many? 277.
Wow. This is a dense book.
Whoa.
Don't read the last page.
I just read the last line.
Don't read the last.
It's an epilogue. Doesn't really play into anything. Okay. These your guys? Fisher asked as soon as Hunter walked through the security entry with Chavo and Batista. So he found them underground and he's brought them back up. Hunter thought that was a fairly stupid question. He wasn't just going to walk into the building with random strangers.
Duh.
No time for niceties, Triple H. Yeah, he answered. This is Chuck and Brad. So Chavo is Brad, I guess. Or the other way around. Which
Chuck.
is which? Fisher asked. Does it matter? No, Fisher said. I guess it don't. Matters to me, Ray said as he handed Chavo and Batista's personal items back to them. Look, boss, I don't mind Mike here coming in off a recommendation, but these guys are recommendations off a recommendation. Whatever happened to doing security checks around here?
Got a point.
Right.
It's okay, Ray, Hunter said. I'll vouch for them. Well, that's literally that's what he had a problem with.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say
Who
that
vouched for you,
That
Hunter?
doesn't fix any problem.
Well, now, Mike, Ray said,
It's a vouch on a vouch.
you seem like an okay guy and all, but I've only known you a couple of hours. I'd like a bit more background if you don't mind. How about a backhand? Batista asked.
Oh,
I
the
hear-
animal!
I hear that in the Drax voice as well.
Brad, Hunter warned. Ray, don't worry so much, Fisher said. Worrying's what you pay me for, Ray said. Well, you've earned cash for the morning already, Fisher said. Take a break. Ray gave Chavo and Batista the once-over before walking back to the security booth. Hunter could see in Ray's eyes that he was calculating just how much longer he was going to work for Fisher before moving on to some other operation. Hunter wished he could do something to hurry that resignation along. It would make his life a hell of a lot easier if Ray weren't around watching him. Too bad there was no way the head of security was going to be leaving the day before an important shipment was coming in.
I was going to say, what Triple H is saying there is like, oh, this job is so much easier if the people who were like watching me to make sure I'm not a spy weren't here.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't argue.
Only. This game would be so much easier if there weren't bosses.
So
And
what's,
all the bosses were already dead.
so what's the deal here? Chavo asked.
Is that your Chavo
I don't
voice?
know. Trying it out. Mike filled us in on the cargo. What do you want us to do? I need someone to... So is Triple H Mike?
Yes,
think-
that,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
he's Mike.
Mike.
I need someone to handle the transfer, Fisher said. I got some good people working for me, but they're more followers than leaders. I'm looking for a couple of guys to stay here and oversee things while Mike retrieves the goods. You know, getting the outgoing packages ready to load while the trucks come in to be unloaded. So he's just going to trust these guys. Where are you going to be? Batista asked. Here, Fisher replied, as if that was the most obvious thing in the world. Hunter shot Batista a look, telling him to leave it alone. Sure, it made no sense that Fisher wouldn't prefer to keep things under control here himself, but his laziness was working for them. No need to look the proverbial gift horse in the choppers. Thankfully, Chavo...
Pete Quinnell, you mean?
Thankfully, Chavo picked up on the train of thought and moved the conversation along. Chavo knows.
Oh, Chavo.
Batista's a big dumb idiot.
I was going to say, he's the smart man of the duo.
Mike told us
Not
about...
as smart as Triple H, though.
He's the Timon.
No. Mike told us
Batista's
about the
the
incoming part, but what's the outgoing shipment? For some reason, I think he's keeping something from us. Chavo had already been briefed
Criminals
on the
keeping stuff from people.
full operation between the parking lot and the warehouse, but he and Hunter had agreed that Mike probably wouldn't have filled Chuck in on every element, especially considering that they would be dealing with the shipment of toxic chemicals.
Ooh. Toxic Avenger crossover begins.
It's about time.
Just some byproducts of the manufacturing process, Fisher said, dismissively. Byproducts, Chavo said. Seems to me the byproducts of a meth lab would be kind of dangerous. Like the toxic variety. Something like that, Fisher said with a shrug, as if he was trying to downplay the fact that he was just admitted they'd be moving some dangerous stuff. What's the deal, Batista said to Hunter. You bring us here to go carrying around some deadly S-word. Batista's off the chain here. Or
He's
Brad.
a loose cannon.
I brought you here to make some money, Hunter said, playing Mike as the hard ass. Shouldn't matter to you if you were carrying kitties.
God, Batista would know that, wouldn't he? Standing in the background while Triple H cuts long, badass promos.
Hell, seems to me kitties' claws don't cause the same kind of trouble, Batista said. You got hazmat suits? You are the hazmat suits.
Oh, Operation Human Shield.
Fisher replied. Don't worry, the waste is stored in good strong containers. We don't play games with that S-word around here. Even so, Chavo said, I think our prices just doubled. Though the comment was made in a light tone, the look on Chavo's face said, don't mess with us. That's my intimidating voice.
Oh, it's good.
I like it.
Don't mess with us.
Please don't.
Hunter waited for
call my
Fisher
mum.
to make his decision. It wasn't like the guy was going to kick them all out of the building, but it was interesting to see the man's mind at work. It all came down to meeting his own needs. Hunter knew that Fisher could oversee things in the warehouse just fine. He probably just wanted someone else to do it for him. So far, everything about this operation screamed that Fisher liked to have other people do the work for him. No wonder he hadn't gotten further before this. It was just a matter of hitching his wagon to Masterson's star. Now all Hunter had to do was find some proof of that hitch. Okay, Fisher said with a shrug, as if the question wasn't even worth the time he had spent thinking about it. Mike, why don't you go show the guys where the outgoing shipment is stored? Sure thing, Hunter said. Triple H's chapters are boring.
Yeah, and you know what I was just thinking then, because I did drift off from
I
some
drifted
of
off.
that.
I was reading it.
from some of that. But I find that when we do Ramble Club every month and we read this book, one chapter every month, this is what it's like for me to try and watch Game of Thrones. Like, I watch an episode, then by the time the next episode starts, because I can only watch one at a time because I fall asleep during the second one. But then I come back the following night to watch it again. I'm like, I've forgotten everything that happened. Who's that again? Why are they there? What other connection have they got to this person?
Nothing. No. Problem is, this is Triple H having conversations in which he knows both what he's going to say, what the other person will say, what the outcome is. At no point is he surprised or shocked or has any emotion beyond, I knew.
So it's just like Game of
I
Thrones.
knew
then.
that.
He's booked to the point, where there's no intrigue. Okay, Fisher, blah, 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 blah. Mike, why don't you go show the guys where the outgoing shipment is stored? Sure thing, Hunter said, as he led Chavo and Batista off. It was impressive the way Fisher kept coming up with euphemisms for toxic waste. He's only said shipment, hasn't he?
Good euphemism.
Yeah. As Hunter led Chavo and Batista to the warehouse annex, he saw Trent watching them from his office. Even at that distance, it was clear the guy was worried. Hunter figured he should have warned Trent that he was bringing some help in, but he hadn't had the chance to talk to him earlier. Hopefully it wouldn't be a problem.
Triple H, crippled by self-doubt.
So this Ray guy, what's
My
his
review of this
problem?
chapter.
So this Ray guy, what's his problem? Batista asked once they were out of earshot. Only professional in an unprofessional organisation, Hunter explained. Which means he's going to be on our asses. Because us coming in like this at the last minute is everything that's wrong with this place, Chavo guessed.
I'm so hoping the next chapter is a Tory chapter.
Like,
I
skip ahead
really,
a little.
really hope the next chapter is a Tory Wilson-based chapter.
It's Hunter again.
That is Triple H's feedback to the manuscript that he goes like, this needs more me.
Yeah.
This needs more chapters with Mike.
At least we got Batista and Chavo there.
But they're not doing out.
No, they're just like
Batista
there
was
to...
getting grumpy.
Like, Batista and Chavo were having a fun chapter until Triple H
Yeah.
showed up and made it boring.
Yeah, Batista was on the verge of doing something interesting.
Yeah.
Imploding the entire plan.
And Triple H showed up with his handbrake. It's like a sledgehammer.
You got it, Hunter said as they crossed into the toxic storeroom. Just what we need, Batista said.
Good euphemism.
Oh, man. Where's his sense of adventure, Chavo asked. Just makes our job more interesting. Hunter liked Chavo's attitude. He could see them working on a team more often. It was nice to know someone had his back for a change, though he didn't always trust Chavo in the ring. This outside work could be good.
Definitely meant to be Eddie Guerrero. Although, fun fact, they only had one match in WWE, Eddie and Triple H.
This is a very confusing mix of kayfabe and real life. That's fiction. Batista, on the other hand, was an unknown element. When did they join? When was Evolution?
Evolution, 2004.
2006. This is set.
Yeah.
So they've had a
2003, 2004.
Sure. Oh, right.
They'd have
okay.
had their split by
They're
this
going to
point.
address that. Sure, they have made names for themselves together in the past, but there have been a hell of a lot of water under the bridge since then. Some blood, too. Hopefully none of that was going to come up on this mission. It should only take a dozen trips with the forklift to get everything out front, Hunter said. There are plenty of guys around here to do the heavy lifting. Need to keep up our strength in case anything goes down tomorrow night, Chavo agreed.
I just want to stress as well that I said that Triple H and Eddie only had one match. That is according to Bruce Pritchard and Conrad Thompson, so they're the ones who said it, not me.
And want to stay as far away from this crap as possible too, Batista added. Hunter checked to make sure they were alone, then leaned into his two partners. This stuff is moved last, he said. We don't need it up front when everyone busts in to take the joint. Yeah, both men agreed. It's just both of them agreeing with Triple H.
It's basically
Yes, boss.
it's every Triple H faction that has ever existed in WWE.
okay,
Not only has it changed the game, but everyone just agrees with him.
Batista said as he eyed the collection of barrels filled with toxic waste. We've seen the stuff, now let's get the hell out of here. Hunter looked at Batista, then he looked at the dangerous barrels all around them. For the first time in a long time, I'd say we're on the same page. Now where's this back door, Chavo asked. This way, Hunter said, taking them back out the annex. They're stretching this.
Aren't they just?
The three of them quickly moved away from the toxic storage unit. Since they already looked like a little tour group, Hunter just continued with that cover, passing the few workers who were setting up for tomorrow's move. Fisher had given most of the staff the day off in preparation for the transfer. Some guys would come back that evening to relieve the guys on hand, then everyone would report in on
cool.
Friday night for the
Admin.
move.
Yeah.
Admin chat.
What's on their whiteboard?
Hey, don't go knocking the whiteboards.
Yeah, but their whiteboard's not as cool as ours.
Hunter stopped the tour for a second to show Chavo and Batista the latest stock of methamphetamines. He explained how the shipments went out weekly in U-Haul trucks and other more nondescript rides at irregular intervals to keep the stuff moving.
This one's on its way to Jake Roberts.
Both men were as surprised as Hunter had been by the scope of the operation. Fisher might not know entirely what he was doing, but no one could question that it seemed to be working. For now, Hunter thought.
Dun,
Dun,
dun.
Don't worry, 1.5 pages left. Hunter continued
boring.
past the
For
shock
now,
of
there's another
synthetic
chapter of
meth
this.
and into the back. This way to the break room, Hunter said loudly.
Oh, cool, a break room.
Then he softly added, "Watch out for the cameras."
What would you think they were doing in the basement? They were like all about this, weren't they?
Yes, boss.
It's almost as if they're not trained at all.
He nodded over his shoulder toward the corner. Neither Fisher nor Ray had pointed out the security cameras on either of his 2 earlier tours. Not that there would have been any reason to. Still, Hunter had made sure that he knew the position of every one of them by the time Chavo and Batista got there. Well done, Triple H. He's saving the day already. Since there was no reason in the world he would be showing the 2 new guys the dead equipment storage room, he had to be sneaky about it. There was no doubt that Ray was watching them at the moment. Conveniently, the back storage room was right off the break room.
I've read ahead the next sentence, and it is a, frankly, boring sentence to be part of a book about wrestlers breaking up a meth lab.
Hunter pulled a barely chilled soda out of the refrigerator as the guys took stock of the room.
I mean, it's a book about wrestlers breaking up a meth lab.
Yeah, they've got to stay hydrated. It's important.
It wasn't
Triple H is going to go
much.
spit out everywhere.
Triple H, the cerebral middle manager.
This sentence just doesn't make sense. It wasn't much, but it was a dump. Isn't that you? It wasn't much, but it was at least a break room.
Yeah.
You don't follow up with another insult.
No, it wasn't much, but it was rubbish.
It wasn't much. It was less than much.
A board
A
laid
much better sentence.
Yeah.
A board laid across 2 sawhorses served as a makeshift table, along with a couple of old folding chairs. There was a row of metal cots lined against the far wall for the guys to rest on during their 24-hour shifts. There wasn't much else beyond that. It was yet another of Fisher's failings that his office furniture was expensive and new, while his employees had nothing but crap.
Oh, now we're having to pop a corporations, are we?
Triple H is going to refurb this entire place before he leaves.
Does Fisher's evil know no bounds?
Yeah.
This it? Batista asked, thinking they had come to the room with the secret exit. Through here, Hunter said,
It's
as
in
he
the
opened
fridge.
his soda.
It's in the soda. It's like a little box.
Inside this can! Holding it in the direction of the doorway. The hatch is in the far right corner. There's a flashlight on the shelf behind it. Gotcha, Batista said. Cameras in there? Chavo asked. Yep, Hunter said,
I hope they've got no sound on them.
as he took a swig.
Yeah.
Plan? Chavo asked. Distraction, Hunter said, as he checked his watch. Give me exactly 5 minutes, then go. Will do, the guys said. Hunter took his soda and went out to the front of the warehouse. Hopefully Ray would be alone in the security booth and wouldn't mind an interruption. If Hunter could pull off this simple plan, if Hunter couldn't pull off this simple plan, the entire mission would be blown.
Fortunately, his name's Triple H. He's got to do it fine.
And then, then I think the next chapter is Hunter causing a distraction while Chavo and Batista sneak out. But they'd already... Couldn't they just go out the front door? They're part of the operation now.
Yeah, it's a good question. It's a solid question.
Gonna fold the pages
Into a goose.
just to make sure I know where we got to.
So disgusting. And actually, now we're on live stream. People can see how disrespectful you are to the printed word. I mean, Charles
I
Dickens
feel
was
that's
rolling.
barely the printed word, isn't it?
I mean, there are printed words.
If this is what I have to show respect to, I'm glad I read everything on a Kindle.
We had one last question: is what is behind Nikki Bella?
What is behind Nikki Bella? It was probably going to fall down.
Decades of hard work.
There's a
Ring bell, a Triple H figure, a lucha
books.
mask.
Luke's book.
Signed Jeff Jarrett image.
Yeah, my book, which is the more important thing.
Cap from a bottle that I've been drinking out of.
Well.
Well, what a down note to
God,
end on.
That sucked the life out of me, that did.
But this has been a fun episode of Ramble Club, nonetheless.
Yeah.
I mean, you need to end this off.
Darn tootin'!
It is 6:10. I'm not going to get home till 8:00. So can we wrap this up a little bit?
Thank you very much for joining us on Ramble Club. $10 and above pledge hammers. As we said at the start of the show, you're our favourite. And Laurie, the only ones that Laurie thinks matters.
You've almost got my respect.
We'll see you back here next month. And of course, me and Luke will be around for the Wrestle Ramble Extra podcast in the middle of the month where it's meant to be. We're going to stick on schedule. We're back on schedule. Wrestle sketches coming this week, hopefully, as well.
Your punishment video?
My punishment video, I've got an idea for
Whoa,
it.
really? Oh, mate. Oh, fantasy booking warfare?
Was it not
Oh,
do it?
let's not get ahead of ourselves. No. You'll notice I'm growing a bit of a beard. That's all I'll say.
It's good, mate. I like you've got a bit of grey in your beard. It's nice, mate. It's
It
distinguished.
used to be ginger, but it's turned. Those bits have turned grey now, which is fine. But yeah, that's the only thing I'll say on camera. I'll let you guys hear about it once we're off mic, off live, off YouTube. But yeah, we'll see you next time.
Did you burp in the middle
Probably
of that?
on the Raw.
Love
the Raw
you.
review tomorrow.
Love you. Bye.